What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nathan, and on this planet we send it, and we're going to be getting today on this garden vlog, besides a normal little walk around and kind of giving you a status update on where things stand today, I'm also going to be showing you where I've done some pruning. Now, I haven't done my actual annual pruning yet, but I have chopped some things back, so I'll point those things out along the way as we come up to them. All right, I got a plan in place. Let's go ahead and send it. I'm also kind of curious to see how we just had our first night where it got down to about 34 degrees, and I want to see how things are, how it affected things. But so far, you can see we're still getting the onesie twosies here on the strawberries, and that just happened. So I don't necessarily expect things to be taking place immediately, but I do expect to see something here. But like I said, we're getting onesie twosies still with the strawberries, and we're all the way, like today's December 13th, so they're still coming in. That's pretty cool. On my wish list, the thing that I want to replace all these with is on it. So if I get it for Christmas, I'll bring it to you. But it's one of those things that if I don't get it for Christmas, I'm probably going to still end up getting it. The in-the-ground garden is looking vibrant as always. It's looking very nice and dark green. Everything is healthy. Still everything's coming. I'm not seeing anything bolting. So it's just in the time of season where it's thriving and in its normal climate. So here in the hops corner here, this is one of the areas that I trimmed back pretty good because I couldn't even walk back out here without getting poked. But here you can see where the hops, they're pretty much dead and falling off onto the ground and just acting as some sort of cover crop, or at least something for the biology to go ahead and suck up into the soil. You know, that section is actually died and opening and getting ready for whatever I'm going to plant there. Still getting some tomatoes along the tomato section. Still looking pretty good. Got tomatoes coming in all up and down this vine. It's getting lots of flowers. Not seeing too much transitions to actual tomatoes, but we are still getting some tomatoes. So we are already with our leaves gone in the last update for that peach tree. But with my dual grafted tree, the leaves here on the plum side are finally starting to wither a little bit more intensely and fall off. Taking a look at my semi-dwarf trees. Let's see here. Can't say that I'm necessarily seeing too much action. It's not necessarily improving, nor is it regressing on any of these. Let's take a look at this other one. And yeah, I'm not really seeing the same thing. Not any improvement and not any regression. So it would be a lot better if I saw some improvement, but unfortunately that's not what we're seeing. So it is what it is. We'll just keep monitoring and hopefully it does pull out of it. Persimmon's tree, no real change. It seems to be doing just about the same. Not really seeing any more intensity one way or another. Definitely does not look to be a deciduous tree. So it looks like it'll be retaining its leaves over winter. And we'll just jump on over here to the Mexican lime tree. Mexican lime tree, definitely not a deciduous. And yeah, man, just the limes up there are really doing good right now. You can really see how a lot of them, with their shades of leaning towards yellow now, are really starting to come in and show you just quite how many are being grown there towards the top. It is the middle of December and the fig tree is still with good leaves. And although it is now starting to color and getting ready to drop it, we're still all the way at the top there, getting in some figs that are still nice and green. And I imagine after that 34-degree weather, we should be starting to see this thing shed its leaves. All right, let's check out the avocado tree. I'm seeing some significant browning still. And I think, so we still haven't seen the growth yet, but you can see here, the little bud here at the end of there. I'm seeing that actually throughout the whole tree here in various places. I mean, just about every branch has this budding, and that's just, it's getting ready to go for a growth. And at least I'm kind of curious to see how, maybe the cold temperatures affects it actually going into growth or not, but it does look like it's getting ready to happen very soon. Big Bertha. The only thing I'm really going to point out is you can see the guavas over there. I actually just had picked up quite a few off the ground. We're always just picking them up off the ground. It is guava season, and this thing is in beast mode production. Pomegranate tree, it's looking pretty beautiful. Nice yellow leaves starting to drop and hit the ground. When that's done in my plum tree, once leaves are pretty much done and falling down, I'm going to go ahead and set up the pruning. But let's go ahead and jump right in over here to, as you can see, ashwagandha tree bush is looking very slim. As I mentioned, the last two videos, I finally got around to it. I cut that thing down to make room so that the avocado tree here, which you can see the new green leaves at the top there, are now going to be able to receive whatever sun is possible as we approach winter solstice. And then the last thing we'll just kind of do here in this section is I also did trim up the elderberry tree just to make it a little bit easier to access the eggs. As a matter of fact, we're kind of in a slow production period. I got one egg over the last week, which is typical, and there's no more right now. The papaya tree. You know, nothing real new here to kind of show, except the papayas are just getting bigger, and we are starting to get the next new batch coming in there towards the top. And then real quick, I want to kind of give you sort of a preview. I made a decision that I want to use some of this chicken manure compost to grow potatoes in a bag this year. Received a present a little bit ago on some gardening bags, and so I'm going to try growing potatoes in those gardening bags with this as the base of the material. I'll be growing the medium I'll be growing the potatoes in. The navel orange tree. Okay, let's see, hold on a second, what's this? I'm seeing some light greenness back there, kind of towards the tops of these older branches. So it looks like we might actually start potentially, what I might be seeing is the initiation of growing out some more branches in preparation for the springtime. I don't know, but that's actually probably one of the first good signs that I've seen. So this thing has probably been dormant, just basically growing its roots. And so I hope that's what's been happening. But at least that's a good potential good sign, positive sign here, that this thing is still growing, and we might be seeing some additional growth come the new year. The little engine that could. Oh, actually here, this is probably something that I definitely want to highlight on is look at how strong that base is. You can see how it's really starting to form some legitimate bark there at the bottom, and you know, it's just thickening and strengthening. So that tells me, like I said on a couple of vlogs ago, that I'm going to go ahead and when it grows, when I see the fruit come in this year, I'm absolutely going to let it fruit this year, because I think now that the base is strong enough to go ahead and carry the production of these mangoes. But besides that, the only real thing that I'm seeing here is it does look like it's getting ready to bud. I mean, I'm seeing buds there, and let's jump over here to the other one. Let it focus. If it wants to focus, there it is. Got buds growing right there, and then here on the main trunk, but no longer the tallest trunk, you know, we got main buds coming in. To be honest, I'm seeing those all on all these different nodes, so hopefully we get a nice good growth spurt before I anticipate we get into the main parts of winter. Then before we wrap up this video, let's go ahead and see how the compost is doing. It's been about a week since I've looked at this, and let's just say the fire's out. It's not really burning hot anymore or anything. And I just spun it up, and it looks like, yep, it's, I guess, got worms here doing its thing. So just going to have to be reliant on the worms to go ahead and take it down. So I think looking back on it, maybe I potentially made it too wet. Because usually it'll get a little bit further down, or maybe me throwing that second cup of beer on it probably also affected it somehow. But yeah, now I'm just gonna have to let the worms do its thing and bring this down the rest of the way, which is actually gonna take a little bit longer. So I think I'm actually setting up to do the next compost on the other side. And so when I do that, I'm only gonna do 1 cup of beer and see how that affects the compost and in which ways. All right, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Now, I've said this multiple times, you know, but I'll just kind of highlight. Even it is kind of winter time and we're getting close to Christmas, there's always things going on in the garden, which is actually what I love about gardening, because even though right now it's December, even when it's not December, it always feels like Christmas. You're not sure which surprises you're going to be getting in the garden. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but usually they're good, and it's always exciting. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.